Hi everyone, welcome back to the US CPA classes for financial accounting and reporting. In this video, which is part 2 of general purpose financial statement of non-governmental and not-for-profit organization, I'll be walking you through in detail about statement of financial position. Yes, this statement of financial position is very important for us to understand for non-governmental and not-for-profit organization. So let's dive into to understand more in detail. So now coming to the statement of financial position. Statement of financial position is your assets and liability are reported in a reasonably homogeneous group and sequence or classified in a way that provide relevant information about their interrelationship, liquidity and flexibility. Right? Interrelationship means whether they are property, plant and equipment, or they are investment, so they have to be classified in that specific group. Second is as per liquidity, whether they are current assets or current liability, non-current assets or non-current liability, right? And financial flexibility, like how if that is being convertible within 3 months to the cash and cash equivalent, then it can be classified into cash and cash equivalent. So those three things which otherwise also you keep in mind when you are making financial statement, same fundamental applies over here, right? Since not-for-profit organization have an absence of the ownership interest like those business entity, because there is no shareholder, right? It's all either trustee or member, right? They do not have traditionally equity account like retained earning or common stock. Everything they have in the net asset account, right? Net asset account, like I informed earlier, will have two category. One is net asset with donor restriction. Second is net asset without donor restriction, right? So net asset, instead of not-for-profit organization utilizing the net asset to the account for equity portion of their statement in financial position, net asset is classified into two categories. One is with the donor restriction. With the donor, there are two type of restriction. One is use-based restriction. Second is time-based restriction. Use-based restriction, like an example I have shared. So I have given a money of $100,000. That money you can utilize only and only for the study of the child, right? For example, there is an NGO, right? Let's assume maybe XYZ. 10 मिनट 10 मिनट One second. Sorry. Sorry. So there are two type of restriction. One is use-based restriction. Second is time-based restriction. So when I say use-based restriction, when you're donating the fund, you said this fund has to be utilized for this particular purpose. If you remember, during the COVID time, right, there was like PM COVID Care Fund has been, you can say, established, right? At that point of time, like the government was focusing or requesting everyone to deposit whatever the best you can contribute for the COVID care, right? Any of you have deposit anything?
Yes, sir.
Right? So you know it. So you know it, right? So whatever the fund you have deposit, that is dedicatedly for the COVID care only. Government or the NGO or whatever is the form of that organization who was collecting the money, they cannot use that COVID care fund for the building of roads, for the building of temple, for the building of any infrastructure, or for education purpose, or for any other purpose, right? Because there you have created a restriction that money which I am giving to you is only to be used for the COVID care. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right? Same way, for example, like an NGO, sometimes they run the drive for the fundraising. For example, like NGO can be like a church, can be a temple, can be a gurdwara, right? Can be a school or can be a museum. Let's assume if I'm not sure like how many times you have been to any church or temple or something like that. So in the church, it normally I've seen they do like fundraising activity, fundraising event specifically, right? For example, if church wants to build some rooms in the church, which is like shelter room, right? In gurdwara also, if you have been any time to any gurdwara, generally gurdwara do have their shelter room, like people who come from the different part of the country, they can come and stay over here, over there. And like for example, like in earlier days, if you remember, like all the big temples nearby, there were some dharamshalas was
Correct.
established by those temples, but nowadays it's all like like privatization, but earlier days like it was used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for that they were raising the fund, like we are building this shelter home for the uh, pilgrims who are coming over here, right? And for that they raise the fund. So whatever the money you are depositing for that particular fund, it is being a restriction that it has to be used for the shelter home. It should not be used for the general administration and operational expenses, right? That is called use based restriction. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Second is time based restriction, right? So for example, like let's assume you guys are being associated with any temple, gurdwara, church, or maybe any society, let's say, who is providing support to the you can say underprivileged students education. Like for example, I give my own example. So I'm being associated with a trust who is like who do like a lot of good work for the underprivileged student, right? So to them I said like every year I'll pay for one student education up to next 5 years, right? They said for one student 1 year education it required 100,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, let's say $15,000, right? I said I commit you that continuously in next 5 years I'll take care of one child education. So here, like what is the commitment I have given is for 5 lakh rupees, or maybe if you say in thousand, so $15,000 for 5 years. How much is it? $75,000,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yes, sir.
So I have committed them $75,000, but I'll be paying $15,000 each year. So they cannot consider that as a revenue of $75,000 in year one, because it's a time restriction. I've given the commitment, but I'll be paying year over year to them, right? So it's this is called time based restriction. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. तो ये नेट
Other
एसेट
category,
में ऐड हो जाएगी, है ना?
yeah, in net asset it will add, right?
ओके, जैसी बैंक टू नेट एसेट्स विद डोनर रिस्ट्रिक्शंस, टाइम बेस्ड.
Yes, yes.
ओके, और सर एक बात थी, ये तो नेट एसेट्स हो गया. अब सर रेवेन्यू जो होता है वो कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है ना?
Yeah. So like every year when I'm giving them 15,000, it will transfer to revenue.
सर
It will
समझ में नहीं आया.
release.
सबसे एक
We'll
सेकंड,
we'll
सबसे
discuss. We'll discuss. Just
ओके.
hold down this question. We'll come to that. Right. So first understand the basic concept. What is restriction or what is
यस सर.
non-restricted cash? Restricted cash, it can be use based or it can be time based. Those
टाइम.
concepts are clear.
यस सर.
Hmm? Now coming to other side, which is net asset without a donor restriction. Like for example, you go to temple, gurdwara, church, right? There is dan peti, there's a donation box,
Mm-hmm.
right?
यस सर.
You have seen those,
Yes.
right?
यस सर.
And
Yes, sir.
you deposit, let's say $1, $5, $10, $50, $100, whatever is your will or capacity, right? So when you are depositing that money in the donation box, at that point of time, you will not make any restriction for which this money has to be used, right? Make sense?
Yes,
Those
sir.
monies are
Yes, sir.
considered as without a donor restriction, which they can use for any purpose. That is
यस सर.
called net asset without donor
Without
restriction.
donor restrictions.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now coming to the detail. First one is not-for-profit organization provide information about the nature and the amount of the different type of donor imposed restriction, either by reporting their amount on the face of the statement. Second, including relevant detail in the notes to accounts. So what is the type of restriction, whether it's use-based restriction or time-based restriction? So you need to classify both of them separately. Both of them separately, either you can disclose on the face of the financial statement or you can disclose in the notes to accounts. So either place you have mandatorily need to disclose. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
On the face of the statement of financial position or in the notes to accounts. Right? NFP must also disclose the amount and purpose of board designated net assets. So this is another type. So one is donor based restriction, and another thing which is like optional. This is not mandatory. This is called board designated net asset. That means you have received the money which is free money. Free money means without restriction money, right? But you can choose whatever the free money or without restriction money we are getting. Out of that, 10% will be using for the capital expenditure, right? For building or upgradation of the facilities, right? Because if you increase the facilities, more and more donor will come,
Yes, sir.
right? And more
Yes, sir.
people you can accommodate, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have chosen as a board or as a trustee or as an members that out of the total free fund will be utilizing 10% for the capacity building or expansion of the organization, right? So that is called board designated net asset. There you are restricting or earmarking the
Okay.
money for the
Okay.
particular purpose, whereas donor has not given any restriction.
ओके सर, तो मतलब एक चीज ये हो गई कि सपोज मैं डोनर हूँ, आई डोनेट 1 लाख रुपीज, वहां पे मैंने रिस्ट्रिक्शन दे दी कि एजुकेशन के लिए, तो ये हो गया उनके लिए नेट एसेट्स विद डोनर रिस्ट्रिक्शन,
Yes,
है ना?
yes.
सेकेंड केस में मैंने क्या किया कि एक कोई भी डोनर आया, ठीक है, उसने कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं लगाई, बट एनएफपी ने अपने आप बोला कि नहीं, हम इसमें से $10,000 जो हैं वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ एजुकेशन पे यूज करेंगे, या जैसे आपने कहा फैसिलिटीज पे यूज करेंगे,
Yes.
तो बचा हुआ जो 90,000 रहेगा, ठीक है,
Yeah.
बचा हुआ जो 90,000 है क्या है?
Yeah,
वो
that
without
is
donor
net.
restriction
Yeah,
है ना?
net asset without donor restriction.
ओके, और 10,000 चला जाएगा बोर्ड डेजिग्नेटेड नेट एसेट्स में, है ना?
Yes, yes.
अगर मैं डिस्क्लोजर की बात करूँ.
Yes, yes.
ओके.
Absolutely right. Right, Kashish, Akash.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear Abu.
And
Yes, sir.
this side, this can be utilized for any purpose or objective of the
Purpose.
not-for-profit organization without any restriction. Right, let's do an illustration. So notes to financial statement. So NFP, Ternity, net asset with donor restriction are subject to the following purpose or time restriction. Subject to purpose restriction, they have given, right? So that is program Omega, program Alta. Yeah, actually, like I have another meeting. Can we do this illustration in next class and we can continue this one?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sure.
It's already 2 o'clock. Actually, I have another demo for this enroll agent program. So maybe like we will, I'll send you these notes so you can go through them. And if you have any question or doubt what we have studied today, so we can discuss that tomorrow morning. And we'll continue with this topic. So tomorrow we'll target to complete this 2.3 topic. Right?
Yes.
Done, sir.
Sure, sir.
Chalo. Okay, let's catch up tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.